Does any of this actually matter? Is it something that you, by learning about it, you get some understanding that you otherwise wouldn't have? Let's put it to the test, and we'll look at some experiments. The first experiment I'm going to describe, the psychology experiment, and it's done with a group of Asian American women. And like all modern sort of lab experiments, the group of Asian American women is divided into two groups randomly, put in different rooms, and neither of them are lucky because they're both going to face the same maths test. Right? So they sit down and do the maths test. But before they do the maths test, the psychologist comes in and talks to them about something. And what the psychologist is doing, although the Asian American women don't realize it, what the psychologist is doing is what's called priming. The psychologist is bringing into the front of their minds something. So one group, psychologist goes into room A, and the psychologist talks a lot about being an Asian American. And in the other group, the psychologist goes and talks a lot about being an American woman. So the difference is, in one group, Asianness is being brought to the front of the mind. It's becoming salient in consciousness. And in the other group, gender is being primed as salient. Of course, all these women have both identities. They're women and they're Asian American. What's happening is the priming is supposed to juggle the ordering of what's most prominent in the mind. And we know from other priming experiments, priming does have that effect. We can't hold everything in the front of our mind at the same time. And then they do the test. And what's found systematically is that the ones who got at the front of their mind being Asian do better on the test on average than the ones who got at the front of their mind being women. Why is that? Why is that? And that's because across American society, there are some pernicious narratives. One narrative that Asians are good at math, and one narrative that women are bad at math. And the striking thing about that pernicious narrative is that these women believe it themselves and are reminded of it, and then perform according to expectations. If you're told you're good at something, you'll do better at it than if you're told you're lousy at it. Now, what that illustrates is the really pernicious effects on behavior of these different narratives. And remember, everybody participates not through choice. You're born into networks that convey narratives, very different narratives. And so we must expect that these very different narratives play out in different behaviors.